A boy from Knott County was helping his dad clean up flooding damage when he found something that was more valuable than he realized. WYNT's Olivia Calfee has the story.
Right here behind me is Troublesome Creek, where a woman and her husband found their home hundreds of yards from where the foundation was. Cheyenne White and her family lost absolutely everything until one boy from Knott County found something to change that.
I flipped the jewelry box over because I saw it, and I didn't think nothing of it because it was basically fell apart. And I looked down, and there was 2 rings in it when I flipped it over. And me and him sat there and took pictures of them to post them.
For people who need assistance, FEMA has a mobile registration intake center set up at the Knott County Sportsplex. You can find more information on WYMT.com. In Knott County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Olivia will have more on how Brady found those rings and returned them tonight at 6. Governor Beshear says FEMA has approved more than $42 million in grants under the FEMA Individuals and Households program. Officials say there are more than 800 FEMA responders in Kentucky. FEMA says it is calling and texting to help applicants with recovery, and that the calls and texts may come from a phone number you do not recognize or have an out-of-state area code. FEMA texts will come from 36476. Appalachian Regional Healthcare continues to help Eastern Kentucky collecting donations and supplies. Today, Congressman Andy Barr stopped by to see the effort at their headquarters in Lexington, and we're getting an update on the ARH employees who lost everything in the flooding. Chelsea Jones shows us the effort.
Well, Congressman Andy Barr met with ARH employees, even one who have lost everything. Brian Lucas, who's the clinical engineering director at ARH, lives in Letcher County. He was home when floodwaters started rising. His family lost their house, their cars, and most of their possessions.
We're displaced now. Lived with family.
This afternoon, he met with Congressman Andy Barr, who supported the emergency declaration for Eastern Kentucky. But Barr says the region is not getting enough help.
FEMA did respond, and the president responded with the declaration, but that's not good enough because what we're hearing is that some of the FEMA assistance that's coming through is delayed, and it's far too little.
Barr suggested putting pressure on FEMA to provide more assistance and using unspent COVID-19 funds to support the region. Lucas told Barr what families like his are going through.
Get him to understand that this is not just a short-term recovery. This is a long-term recovery, long-term need.
Now, central staff here at ARH say they still need donations and they need volunteers to help with loading supplies onto trucks headed to Eastern Kentucky. In Lexington, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
Well, it hasn't been a bad day to be outdoors today. We've seen comfortable temperatures, plenty of sunshine and humidity. While it's been there, it's not been crazy, and it's actually felt pretty good outside, at least by middle August standards. London Corbin Airport outside right now, blue skies and just a few fair weather clouds, sitting at 82 at this moment in time. You see the temperatures around the region, low to mid 80s. Manchester now at 84, as is Jonesville. We've still got some areas, though, in the upper 70s, like Hazard at 79, Pikeville and Clintwood at 78, but most of us are at or above the 80-degree mark. Outside right now on Pinpoint Doppler, the sweep is clean for the most part. Just a little bit of ground clutter as you head toward Interstate 64 up closer to the bluegrass. So we're not dealing with anything that's actually threatening to fall from the sky. And that's just okay by me. As we head through the rest of the evening hours, we should be in good shape. Keep that First Alert weather app handy because you might need it as we head into the next couple of days. For tonight, okay, upper 70s, low 80s. We're back into the upper 60s as we head to bed tonight, and we'll wake up somewhere in the low to mid 60s as we head into the morning. But we have more showers and storms working into the forecast as we head into the end of the work week and unfortunately into the weekend. The full details on that coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
Evan, thank you. One of former President Donald Trump's top executives admitted to a judge today he evaded paying taxes on the big perks he took home working at the Trump Organization. CBS's Michael George reports from New York.
Donald Trump's chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, pleaded guilty Thursday to multiple counts of fraud and tax evasion. The 75-year-old is accused of receiving more than $1.7 million in off-the-books pay from the Trump Organization. As part of the plea deal, Weisselberg is expected to testify about illegal practices within the Trump Organization and potentially serve as a witness in a trial this fall. Prosecutors allege top Trump Org executives have been receiving untaxed benefits for 15 years. So far, Weisselberg is the only person to face criminal charges in the Manhattan DA's investigation into the company. Weisselberg has long been considered one of Trump's most loyal associates. The judge agreed to sentence him to 5 months in jail at Rikers and ordered him to pay nearly $2 million in restitution. His attorney claims the charges are politically motivated, and Trump denies his company committed any crimes. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
While Weisselberg is now required to testify at the upcoming trial facing the Trump Organization, the former president himself has not been charged in that case, and Weisselberg is not obligated to cooperate with the district attorney's broader investigation of the former president. Sources close to Trump say he is considering releasing surveillance footage of the FBI's search of his Mar-a-Lago home. Some of Trump's allies are even urging him to do it. One source said it's not a matter of if Trump releases the footage, but when. His son Eric Trump said this week the footage would be released, quote, at the right time. One person familiar with the conversation said there have been discussions about featuring the footage in campaign-style ads. But some close to Trump worry releasing the video could backfire by showing the sheer volume of materials federal agents seized. Former Trump White House advisor Peter Navarro is asking a federal judge to dismiss his criminal contempt of Congress case. The charges were brought against Navarro after he failed to comply with a subpoena from the House January 6 committee. In a motion filed late yesterday, Navarro argued DOJ policy shields advisors to the president from congressional demands for testimony, and such immunity extends beyond that advisor's tenure. Navarro also claims there were procedural flaws in how the January 6 committee was formed and says he is being selectively prosecuted. Coming up on First at 4, as students return to school, parents and guardians may be feeling the pinch in their wallets. What is driving the increased cost of school supplies?
Plus, continuing to watch the possibility for showers and storms into the next couple of days. We'll break down those details next.